So hello everyone on this yoga teacher course, and I'm Piotr Planeta, and I'm partially a meditation teacher, also Buddhist Dhamma teacher. Dhamma is, you probably know this word, Dharma is the same. And so Monica asked me to do mostly two things for you. One is that I want to teach you how to guide meditation, so you will know if you will want in your yoga classes or something to guide meditation for your students, so you will know how to do it without falling into any pitfalls, to do it correctly. And second thing is I will just play on gong for you like a sound bath, so its second part is just more like entertainment and healing process, so it's just for you. But the first part is more about learning proper meditation techniques. So there are many approaches we can take here. We have together like 2.5 hours, so let's say 50 minutes will be for gong, so that leaves us 1 hour and well, that's higher math. So we have like 1.5 hours for the lecture and meditation. So probably the best way will be to just do one meditation and one lecture, I suppose. So maybe I will do it this way. I will give a very short introduction to meditation, then we'll do meditation, then I will do lecture explaining everything more thoroughly. So the first thing that I think is important is that in general I will teach you Buddhist meditation, because yoga meditation is very... first of all, I'm not a yogi, so why should I speak about something I don't really understand? And secondly, as far as I know, yoga meditation is very holistic, and it's based on all the other limbs of yoga. And without certain preparation with pranayama, with asana and stuff like that, it doesn't even work. So it's pointless to go so deep if not your student will have the basics for that. But Buddhist meditation is a little different. It doesn't require so many foundations to start. In general, in Buddhist meditation, it's all about bringing calm to mind and creating wholesome mental states. And in general, it's a very restful process for the mind. And its goal is to just let go of everything and let your mind rest in itself into some neutral or pleasant flow of experience. So you can rest, and just resting your mind is the source of deepest insights, because you can realize then that actually you can be very happy without anything, just resting your mind. So this is quite opening in itself. And because of that, meditation posture is not so important in Buddhist meditation. It's not like yoga where you have all these asanas with these mudras and stuff like that. Actually, you cannot expect every student to be, very good at Padmasana and all this stuff. So just let them sit however they want, as long as they are comfortable. I even allow students to lie down if they are exhausted or something. So in general, I think it's very good to be very kind and very forgiving. Just understand that they have different backgrounds, they have various stuff they go through, they can be tired, so don't expect too much. Just let them be comfortable. And after you get the meditation posture, which I always allow to change, because something can hurt someone, so let them change postures during meditation and never make them like guilty about this. Like, it's good to... because it's very important that what you say to your students is creating perceptions in their mind. So if you will say that, oh, you must hold your posture for the entire hour, then they will really try to do it, and if they fail, then they will feel bad. But if you stay straight that you can change your posture however times you can, it will not disturb your meditation. Then it will not disturb their meditation. Because if you would say that if you change your posture, it will disturb your meditation, then it would disturb their meditation. So actually we are getting at something very deep there. It's just by the way that pretty much everything is conditioned by our perception. So it's very important to say such perceptions to your students, suggest such perceptions that they feel comfortable, at ease. So if you tell them that they can change posture how many times they can and it doesn't break anything, they will feel comfortable, and that's very important. Then the first instruction I give is to make yourself aware that now is the time for meditation. So during meditation we don't do anything else. And this is very important because meditation is like long-term process where we try to condition ourselves into knowing that when you meditate you put everything aside and you just rest. You rest your mind. You clear your mind and rest. So if whatever comes up during meditation that is very agitating, that is creating all these thought trains and very intense thinking about past and future and stuff like that, just say no to that and switch back your attention to your meditation object, so to this flow of experience, which we'll talk about soon. And that is very important because it's all about long-term programming your mind that when you sit down to meditation, you rest. And every time you repeat that process, it will become more habitual. And then actually, no matter what happens in your life, when you sit to meditation, you will calm down. And this is like a superpower in the long run, because then you will have a source of calm and happiness that is independent from the outside conditions. So even if things sucks in your life, you can sit in meditation, let that go, and be at peace. And if you create this habit that whatever, if you're happy, you let go and be at peace. When you're sad, you let go and be at peace. When things are working out your way, you let go and be at peace. And when things don't go your way, everything sucks, you let go and be at peace. So you create this habit of always letting go and just rest your mind. This is one of most important things. And then another instruction that can be useful to people is that don't pay attention to distractions, and in general that meditation is not about that things must be perfect, but in general don't try to get angry about anything that's happening outside. I like give this simile oftentimes when I give instructions of meditation, that imagine like you're sitting down on a bench at a park. When you sit down at a bench at the park, you don't care that people are talking or when car is driving, because you're just sitting at a park. You don't expect to have perfect silence or wherever. And it is the same with meditation. Don't expect like now you will be like the Buddha statue, that everything will be silent around you. Because if you create such expectation, then when, for example, something noisy will happen, you will get angry. And that's pointless. So it's good to just don't really treat meditation as I will now become most calm person in the world. Just try to sit down like sitting in a park and just stay with whatever comes. In general, it's very important to cultivate a perception that your focus and your peace of mind is stronger than any distraction. So we don't try to eliminate distractions, just stay with what is. And unless there is some distraction that is very annoying and you can easily remove it, then just never interfere with like things happening outside, people talking. Just let that be. It's not important. Just you will go back to your meditation object. And then comes the actual so-called meditation, because and there are many types of meditation, but I will just teach you one simple, which is super super simple, which is like combination of breath meditation with inner silence meditation. But we start from the breath, so you just tell people, please focus on your breath. And my preference is that you don't focus on any particular aspect of the breath, just the breath as a whole. And I give this simile that imagine that you are standing at the seashore with your feet in the sea and the waves are gently rubbing your feet. And it's a very pleasant experience. And try to notice your breath as this wave on the ocean. Inflow, in-breath, outflow, out-breath. And when the ocean is doing this thing and gently rubbing your feet, you don't control the ocean. You can only experience it touching you. In the same way we observe the breath, it comes in, it gently rubs your body and consciousness. You breathe out, it gently rubs your body and consciousness. And you observe the breath in general as a whole, like wave on the ocean. And you let that people for a few minutes to just stay with this breath. And after a few minutes, you say to them that now please expand your consciousness to more sensations, like more bodily sensations, more energetical sensation if they feel such vibrations and stuff like that. And let the breath be inside, like the broader spectrum of perceptions, of sensations. So in general what it means, you become aware of more parts of your body, of your experience, and the breath is part of it. The wave is still there. And this is important because then when your awareness expands, the more it like influences your body and your mind, and the more part of your experience becomes calm because of this wave of breath. And awareness itself is calming. So it just makes your broader experience more calm and serene. And what is important is that you tell people then to try to relax with every breath and try to feel the sensations of relaxation whenever they happen. And they actually should like direct their minds to this pleasant feeling of relaxation that comes from the breath, from the whole experience. And this is like focusing on the pleasure of relaxation. And you let them stay for a few minutes. And after a few minutes, you tell them, now we add inner silence. And inner silence is like silence beneath all sounds and all thoughts. And then I give the simile that it's like you are listening to the gently moving air that doesn't give a sound. And it can direct your mind to this total silence that is beneath everything. And then you let them for a few minutes to listen to this silence. And then you can give an instruction that now like connect all these things like magnets that pulls into one flow of experience. So there is silence and space of sensations, and from this emerges in-breath, out-breath, and again silence and space, and in-breath, out-breath, silence and space. And in this way you create like a meditative trance of calm, and whatever distractions, don't pay attention. Just go back to in-breath, out-breath, silence, in-breath, out-breath, silence. And you can go on like that till the end of the meditation. And that's pretty much it. And at the end, if you want, you can do loving kindness meditation, which is because you feel calmer. Usually people feel much calmer after such meditation. And then you can tell them, if you feel calmer, then if you want to push it further, then you can tell them that please be aware that all beings in the universe, all animals, all insects, all humans, and other beings if you believe in them, they are not always this calm. So develop compassion, that imagine like this calmness is embracing all beings, like some form of telepathy, like this calm that you feel right now, like imagine that it calms every being in the universe. And then let them be blissful as I am blissful. And this is loving kindness meditation, that you spread this good energy And it will actually make you feel amazing, because then you will feel that you are at peace with all universe and you just wish everyone well. And then after that you just say, now just please relax completely and notice how you feel after this meditation. And the final thing you say is, please notice how you feel after this meditation. People usually feel much calmer and better and more blissful. And this noticing of that state conditions them that, yeah, this is cool, so I want to do it again. And in this way you condition them that they will want to meditate. And in this way you're making a very good karma because you're making people go towards more peace and happiness and let go of all this unnecessary suffering that our minds create. So this is pretty much the practical way of meditation. And whatever happens, like whatever people might have, like some energetical processes at some point, just always tell them that just let that happen, don't control and trust, and everything will be okay. So this is pretty much all the practical stuff you need. And now we can do a meditation, so you can check that in practice, and then I will maybe expand a little bit on some things I said. But this is pretty much, I covered most important stuff. So, but let's now just get to practice. So, please take your meditation postures. All right, and after you feel comfortable, just please remember you can change your postures however times you want. Just make sure you're comfortable. And we start meditation by being aware that now is the time for meditation. And so we want to let go of all the stuff. And especially if anything unwholesome comes to your mind, any greedy or hateful thoughts or emotions, any unskillful, unpleasant, unhealthy emotions or thoughts, just say no to them and immediately discard them and turn your attention to something neutral or positive. This is so-called mindfulness, sati. And now, just please remember that whatever distractions they are, if there is some noise or whatever else, just don't pay any attention to it. Remember that your focus and your calm is more powerful than any distraction. It's not about being in perfect conditions, but about staying calm among any conditions. And most important part of doing that is just believing that it's possible. But in every storm there is eye of the storm, the calm center. And we will find that in our breath. So now please notice your breath as a whole. In breath, out breath, like wave on the shore, on the seashore. Just like you would be standing with your feet in the ocean on the seashore, the waves would gently rub your feet with very pleasant experience. You cannot control the ocean, but you can feel how the water is pleasantly rubbing your feet. In the same way, don't control your breath, just let it flow naturally like the ocean and notice it like a wave. In breath, the wave is coming, out breath, the wave is going out. In breath, the wave is coming, out breath, the wave is going out, and this breath is gently rubbing your body and consciousness, and just let it stay there for a few minutes. Just observe this process. And now expand your awareness towards more bodily sensations or spiritual sensations that are present in your experience, especially the ones that are pleasant. And notice that breath is within this broader sphere of sensations. And just feel like every in-breath and out-breath relaxes you and relaxes these sensations, and feel into both the breath, like the wave, and into these relaxed sensations, these pleasant relaxed sensations, and focus your attention on these two things, breath and relaxed sensations. And don't overthink it. Just whatever your mind follows, let it flow naturally to the breath and all pleasant, relaxed sensations. And now we add to that sound of inner silence. Silence that is beneath all sound, that is beneath all thoughts. Like you would be listening to gently moving air that doesn't make any sound. Sometimes in the silence you can hear this tingling sound like crickets in the night, a little bit like singing bowl. It's okay to listen both to absolute silence or this inner sound, nada sound, whatever it is, feel the breath, feel relaxed sensations, and feel or hear the inner silence. And now try to connect this. There is in-breath, out-breath, and the out-breath dissolves into silence and space. And from that silence and space comes in-breath, out-breath, dissolves into silence and space. From this comes in-breath, out-breath, dissolves into silence and space. And do it all the time like a meditative trance. You focus only on in-breath like a wave, out-breath like a wave, into silence and space. Till the end of the meditation. You don't have anything else to do. You don't have to think about anything. Just go into this timeless stillness and inner silence and the flow of relaxed, pleasant experience. I will share with you something that I will expand on in the lecture, but you may notice that your mind may get impatient. It starts to think, like, how long will I meditate? What to do next? But please note that these things exist only when you think about them. When you don't think about time, when you don't think about meditation, duration of the meditation, what you will do after, these things actually don't exist. In the breath and in the silence, there is no end of meditation. There is no duration of meditation. There is no future. There is no problem. There is no suffering. There is only peace and freedom. So whenever, if you want to get really deep and real pleasant meditations, just let go of all conceptual mind, of all thought processes, of all time perception, and just stay in the silence and the breath. And learn to notice that there is no problem, no suffering, only ease and peace. And when you trust to go deeper and longer periods into this space of silence and flow, this is what really leads to liberation of the mind. Gradually. So try that now. Instead of listening to your thoughts, listen to silence and feel the wave of breath and relaxed sensations. Okay, and now notice if you feel calmer, if you feel more peaceful, more blissful after this meditation. If you feel calmer, now we will do compassion and loving kindness meditation. So just realize that there are beings in every direction of the world. There are beings, humans, insects, animals, other beings if you believed in them. And realize that they are not as calm, not as blissful, not as peaceful, not all of them anyway. Sometimes you are very agitated as well. And you wish yourself and all beings, oh, may all beings be as peaceful or even more peaceful, as blissful or even more blissful. May they feel freedom of suffering and pleasure. And imagine like these calm emotions and these blissful sensations that you perhaps feel, that they are spreading to the whole world like rays of the sun, embracing all beings with, like, caressing them with love and compassion. Oh, may all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be calm at peace. May all beings be blissful. And keeping that intention in your heart, in your awareness, let all feelings, all thoughts, all sensations flow naturally. Just let them flow as they come. Okay, and now just stop meditating, stop directing your attention in any way, and just be for a while with whatever you created in this meditation. Just stay a few minutes just with whatever is present, fully relaxed. And notice how you feel after this whole meditation. How you feel in the body, how you feel in the mind, how you feel in your emotions. And if you feel better, just realize it's all cause and effect. It's just matter of perception and directing your attention. Actually, absolutely nothing extraordinary happened. You were just sitting and breathing. But the experience is directed by your perception and your attention. And this can change absolutely everything. So, thank you so much for our meditation, and slowly come back. Alright, so I'll just add a few things because I also want to take some questions if you have any, but one thing is the duration of the meditation. In general, the best way to meditate, if you want to meditate on your own, is to don't ever count the time how long you meditate. Just sit and let flow. Because you're just setting a constraint of time which is very like contradictory to this process of letting go and trying to get into this timeless sphere. The only time when you can set an alarm or something is when you really must get up at some point and start doing something, go somewhere. But if you lead classes, of course you can make some plans, and in general I would say it of course depends how you want to do it. Sometimes you may want to, for example, dedicate one of the classes for a longer meditation like we did right now, something like 45 minutes, which is actually a perfect time, I would say. But if you want to do half hour, that's okay, 20 minutes is okay, 15 minutes is okay. I think at least 15-20 is like minimum for the mind to settle, because we cannot do magic tricks like, okay, mind settle in 1 minute, okay. It just doesn't work. It needs, as you have seen, it's like layers and layers of relaxation, and only after you get through all these layers it's going deeper and deeper. So I think at least like 15-20 minutes is a minimum to calm the mind, at least to some actual noticeable degree. But if you push this further to 30 minutes, it's even better. And of course, you cannot explain, probably your classes won't be as long meditation, but if you practice in your home, it's really worthwhile to, if you will get to this 45 minutes, I would say it's like a magical number that really a lot of tension can go away. It's like complete reset of your emotional and mental well-being. And of course, if you would like, if you will get like a taste for it and you will really love it, then you can prolong it however long you want. And the best thing is when you start to practice every day, maybe twice a day or 3 times a day, because you just see it's like going back to this fountain of regeneration. And after some time, you just see it's beneficial, and that's what's beautiful about Buddhism. You just observe the cause and effect, just the way reality works, and if it's beneficial, you want to repeat the beneficial process, and in this way you're heading in the right direction. And maybe I will talk briefly about meditation in general, because what is like purpose of meditation, what is its essence. So I think just the essence of meditation is just to cultivate the mind and to increase happiness and decrease suffering. This is so simple, because actually most of suffering in the universe is self-created. Like 99.99% suffering in your life is created by your mind. You might not believe it, but it's actually true. Like even the pain that you feel, physical pain, it's actually the mind that lives through pain is the suffering, because you can be in pain and be completely equanimous about it. You can just accept the pain, just don't just deeply be moved by it, and then you don't really care. But what is most important is that actually people create suffering through so-called proliferation, papancha in Pali, which is language of Buddhism, which is like creating more and more out of something. For example, someone said something unkind to you, and you roll it over for hours. You think about how this person could have said that, how we were offended and stuff like that. And actually, this offense could last like 3 seconds, and you made out of 4 hours of suffering out of it. And this is proliferation. You just create more and more suffering out of something. And actually, Buddhism, like its essence, is about to stop create this mental suffering, because actually everything we experience through perception, and perception is like seeing something in something. For example, let's say some people like blue color, some people like red color. So when people who like red see red, they don't see just red, but they see also, oh, I like this. And this I like this is a perception. And for example, they don't like blue color, and wait, they see blue color, they say, I don't like this. And the other person is different. They like blue, they don't like red. It's all perception. And it's a very simple example, but let's take that further to, for example, what to do when someone insults you, on where something doesn't go your way, where you are, when someone breaks up with you, when your close relative dies. And then you can experience it through various ways. And thing is, we usually experience it actually, you might be not aware of that, but we experience things as world told us to experience it. So for example, someone close dies, so you're very sad and distressed for years because the world told you so, you should be distressed. Or someone breaks up with you, so you're angry at them because you have sense of loss, and the world told you, oh, this bad person, you should be angry of them, they left you. And we can change these perceptions actually. And this might sound crazy, but actually you may not be angry about this thing. You don't have to be sad for years. Some people experience centered things for like few weeks, some for a few years, for decades. It's all a matter of how we perceive these things. And in Buddhism, we don't try to go so much about what is the narrative you add to it, because narration is like secondary to feeling. For example, you feel sad, so you explain to yourself, I feel sad because this and that, I don't have this, I lost that. I feel angry because this person did this and that. I feel happy because this and that. And these narrations, actually, when you are getting into them, they strengthen the emotion you're in. So when you're sad and you listen to the narration of your sadness, you become more sad. If you're angry and you listen narration of your anger, you become more angry. If you're happy and you listen about narration of your happiness, you're getting more happy. This is the way mind works. You can see it like through introspection everywhere. The point is, we live in like a social structure that conditions us in a way that we believe that we should experience these things exactly like the rest of society. But the Buddha would say, no, you don't have to do it. You can actually experience the world in the way that makes you happy and makes you free from suffering. So for example, if you lose something, you don't have to be sad about it. If something offends you, you don't have to be angry about it. You don't need a reason to be happy. You can just be happy because you're there. Because every emotion and every thought is ultimately just impermanent emotion and thought. And you can notice that you have felt million things in your life and everything changed anyway. So no emotion ever gave you like permanent essence of reality. The same with thoughts. You thought million different things about different people, different social structures, different events. You had various views in your life that has changed, and no view has led you to any ultimate liberation. Because actually all this is just constructed emotions, constructed thoughts, and they don't reflect ultimate reality. So actually we live in sort of impermanent thoughts, impermanent feelings that doesn't reflect any deepest aspects of reality. So you have a choice. Either to be unreasonably unhappy or to be unreasonably happy. Because all emotions and thoughts are actually unreasonable. Neither of them are true in a way. So you have a choice. And the thing is that Buddha and the so-called voice of another, which is very important in Buddhism, because you must just hear these words. Someone must tell you that you can do it. And you can experience the world in a way that makes you happy and free from suffering. And you don't need any other reason, any narration. And actually the mind is, even though it's magical, it can go into various higher states of consciousness and stuff like that, it's completely mechanistic. And every choice you make creates a pattern, and pattern creates habits, and habits creates who you are. So every time you change, for example, when someone insults me, I don't get angry, you strengthen the pattern of not getting angry. And actually it doesn't matter what someone did, because every time it is you creating the anger. For example, you are going to work, driving to work, someone doesn't cross the green light and you are angry. Oh, you haven't crossed the green light, now I'm late because of you, you blah, 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 blah. And you think that you are angry because this person hasn't crossed the green light. But actually no, you are angry because you create this anger. Because you can actually be calm about it. You can, okay, he doesn't cross, I'm calm about it. Various people experience it various ways because it is we who create this emotion. But this is so-called projection. People say that I am happy because something happens. I am angry because something happens. But actually the deeper truth is you're angry because you are creating anger. And you're happy because you're creating happiness. And when you discover that it's actually you are all the time creating all these emotions and thoughts, because thoughts are the secondary to emotions, then you can actually specifically find perceptions that makes you happy and don't make you suffering. It doesn't matter that you become like soulless husk that doesn't care about others. You actually can be very compassionate because you realize you can teach that to others, show that to others through inspiration that they can be happy as well. But what is most empowering is that to create this view of life that you can actually create your mental states. And for example, when you notice that when someone insults you and you get into fight every time, you just escalate anger, and you never get out of it in this way. But you can just don't take it personally, stay calm, disengage, and maybe be kind next time Try to create wholesome situation. And in this way you will actually influence the situation much better, and you don't dwell on this anger or on this sadness of loss or on the fear, whatever. All negative emotions, you immediately let go of them and immediately cultivate the wholesome, which is equanimity, which is calm, compassion, sympathetic joy, which is being happy from when others are happy, and loving kindness or true love. And these four modes of emotions is what we want to cultivate, and everything else, anger, fear, sadness, frustration, and all negative emotions, just instantly let them go. Instantly let them go. And this is like the essence of Dharma. This is the essence of cultivation of mind, actually. This is so simple. It's so-called right effort in Buddhism. Effort to train your heart to be happy and to let go of suffering. And it's just this simple, but so when something is creating a situation of anger, just don't get angry. When something creates a situation of sadness, just don't get into despair. And you can create happiness out of so many things. Just create gratitude for whatever you have. You can think about things you are grateful for, perceive what is beautiful, perceive what you love. Constantly, Buddha was saying us, think about things that are lovely. Think about Sangha, about Dhamma, about Buddha, about your goodness, about generosity, acts of generosity. Think about loved ones. Think about everything that is good and make a habit of just being happy. And you don't need more. Usually we have already a lot of things that we can be grateful and happy about. So just learn how to appreciate that and learn to don't dwell on suffering. And this is like the essence of the most important thing in life. And meditation is just a tool that helps you achieve that. Because in meditation we learn how to control our perception, our attention, our mind. You learn how to push everything aside, focus on the pleasant aspect of the breath, like wave on the ocean. You learn not to get into distractions, which is you don't dwell on suffering. Then you expand the happiness and the relaxation. You just expand your perception of relaxation, you become more blissful. You add silence, which is always there, another skillful perception that brings positive mind state. And you just stay in the silence. And then at the end, you go with compassion, loving kindness. Oh, may all beings be happy, may all beings be at peace. Because in the long run, always compassion, love, sympathy, harmony creates more happiness, and anger, conflict, ego, greed creates more harm and more suffering. So it is actually more rational approach to life. It's just the most happiness for everyone, especially for the one practicing it. And the meditation is like a good habit, because meditation is about independence from the so-called winds of the world. Because the Buddha said the world has 8 winds: pleasure and pain, fame and disrepute, gain and loss, health and sickness. And these things will always be blown by the winds of the world. Sometimes you will feel pleasure, sometimes you will feel pain. Sometimes you will gain things, sometimes you will lose things. Sometimes you will be famed and praised, sometimes you will be in disrepute and blame. Sometimes you will be healthy, sometimes you will be sick. And these things are so-called anicca, impermanent, they change all the time. And if you are not having another way to experience happiness and peace, you will be always a slave of the world. You will always be a slave of changing conditions, and when bad things come, you will be always miserable. So in order to prevent that, we want to have third option, not just being blown by the pleasure and pain, but creating a new sphere in your life that is about peace and calm, that is independent from the winds of the world. And that is what is going on in this meditation. Because you can always sit down, don't care about distractions, you can always breathe, you can always notice your breathing, you can always relax, you can always listen to the silence that is deep within you. You can do this always and don't think. Because thoughts are actually creating all these winds of the world. They create all this drama, all these narrations. Without thoughts, there is just peace and freedom. And you cultivate this every time you sit into meditation. And then you strengthen the habit, the pattern, it becomes part of you. And then you have part of life that is always independent. And there is nothing more useful than when things, so-called, when shit hits the fan, when things go really bad in life. There is nothing better when you can keep your cool and really get rational out of your problems. And meditation can do that for you, because you have made a habit that no matter what happens, you have this ritual, this practice that you just get calm and peaceful all the time. And that's why it's so useful. And of course it is so part of yoga as well, because yoga is about cultivating healthy body, healthy mind, healthy heart. All this morality is part of yoga and stuff like that. So meditation actually creates this, it's like yoga for the mind. It's complete relaxation for the mind. So the meditation is very useful, and I wanted to present it as part of the broader training of the mind, which is about just letting go of all suffering that is created by your mind and cultivate the happiness in as many situations as possible and as independently from the worldly things as possible. Yeah, and this is possible. There are many beings, like good examples are some Buddhist monks or other ascetics that completely doesn't have anything. They are fully celibate for years. They don't have absolutely no money. They eat 1 meal a day. They have only one robe, and they just are very happy. So how is it possible that person who has nothing is so happy? Well, because they train their mind to be happy independently of everything. And you don't have to be a full-blown ascetic or a monk to experience to some degree the benefit of this independent happiness and peace. So this is all what meditation is about. And that's what I wanted to share with you. And in general, at the end I want to say that if you practice it the way that I told you here, you cannot go wrong with that. Because you are not overtaxing the body, everything is relaxed and very flowing. And with the breath and silence, there is no complex things. It's all about right effort, about cultivating the wholesome, letting go of the unwholesome states, and about cultivating peace and this flow of pleasant experience. So you cannot go wrong with that. I will say that whenever, in whatever spiritual teaching or psychological teaching, there is this one teaching: let go of the self-created suffering, cultivate self-created happiness and goodwill, true love, compassion. There is no way you're gonna go wrong with that. And I know what I'm talking about because I practice for more than 15 years, and I am a PhD from almost from philosophy about Buddhist meditation, and I led countless meditation retreats, and in general I'm very interested in this stuff. So I've checked a lot of traditions, a lot of techniques, but it all comes down the essence. It can be seriously whatever tradition, whatever technique. It can be breath, it can be mantra, it can be inner silence, it can be visualization, it can be with this mantra or this mantra. It can be listening to waves you can play like waves on the headphones. It doesn't matter what is the object. If the essence is there, that you just let go of the self-created suffering and you put your mind into continuous flow of neutral or pleasant experience, this is the essence of meditation. And as long as it's there, there will be no trouble. And that's what I really want to achieve, that I want to share with people approach to meditation that will not harm anyone. Because meditation, if practiced wrongly, can be very harmful. For example, some people do a technique that they try to stay aware of the whole body and be equanimous to the whole body. And after some time they have so many feelings in the body that they cannot handle the suffering. So for example, such techniques are not very beneficial because they tell you in this technique you should stay with the pain even if you feel it. It can create a lot of problems for people. So that's why I say just focus on neutral and pleasant feelings. Condition mind into being peaceful and blissful, and you cannot go wrong with that. And actually Buddha said that there are only 4 things that can happen when someone is addicted to pleasure of meditation. And these are 4 stages of awakening. So you cannot go wrong with that. If you actually get addicted to pleasure of meditation, the only thing you can get is enlightenment. because it is actually enlightenment, to realize that there is nothing else than there's only one lesson to be learned, to let go of self-created suffering. To just don't proliferate, don't dwell on suffering, and just constantly live it and develop positive, wholesome states like true love, compassion, gratitude, calm, equanimity. This is the path. So this is it. And now if you have any questions before we get to the gong session, you can ask whatever you want. Bad experience? Yeah, but only when I was practicing wrongly, when I didn't understood the essence. Because sadly not all teachers, in my opinion, understand what is true Dharma. And because of that, they teach people things that are not exactly working. Yes, I actually had very bad experience, but it's part of the process. Because then when you get really deep into like wrong place, then you realize, yeah, this is not the way. By the way, Buddha made this mistake as well, because he also almost starved himself to death when he was meditating, because he was part of the very extreme ascetic movement for 5 or 6 years. So this is like part of the process. And I was also like, first of all, I become hypersensitive at first, and then I really craved this silence, this peace. And because of craving of silence and peace, I got actually very frustrated with all the sounds and all the noise and the distraction. So then I realized this is completely not the way. This is actually creating expectation that is cause of suffering. But the true meditation is to let go of expectation. And since I started to let go of expectation and like just sit and recondition my mind to don't actually go deep into sensations, but to stay as open and as peaceful, to don't direct mind to the intricacies of sensual experience of meditation, but just peacefulness and blissfulness of meditation, then, since then, I honestly don't have a single bad meditation. Every meditation is just pure pleasure. So this is what happens when you practice this correct way. I learned it mostly from Ajahn Sauna, my favorite teacher, because he's exactly a Dhamma teacher that says exactly these things that I'm telling you right now. It is pretty much taken from his teachings, because he puts most emphasis on right effort, discard the suffering, cultivate wholesome states, and just be mindful of your mind and constantly do this thing, and whatever else is just secondary.
Any recommendation if, for example, someone always fall asleep while meditating?
Yes, first of all, I would say it's not a problem, because I think in general people in our society are very exhausted deeply. We constantly borrow energy through caffeine, through, just motivating ourselves, because we live in such a culture that we want to achieve more and more and more. And when we meditate, actually everything comes back to balance, and everything that has to be experienced goes to the surface. And it can be some spiritual stuff, energetic experiences, whatever, but usually it's just tiredness, because we are all exhausted, and meditation brings you back into balance, and it tells you need to sleep. You need to stop and rest, because we are all extremely exhausted. And actually I would say don't fight it, just go and take some sleep, And after you sleep for a few days and you are getting really rested and you don't ingest caffeine for a long time and you go back to normal, which is very rare in our society, then when you meditate you won't be falling asleep. But if it still persists after you rested for weeks and no caffeine, it's the best to don't take either caffeine or relaxing stuff, just pure nature. And when after a long period of not exhausting yourself, living spacious life with lots of free time, and you get really rested, and you still fall asleep, then just try to have straight back and try to put more attention into consciousness, into awareness. And then you shouldn't fall asleep. But if you still, which is extreme case, then just make more active form of meditation, like some visualization, some loving kindness, active meditation, when you spread loving kindness to this, being to that, so make your mind more active. But yeah, usually it's just exhaustion, and I just feel compassion for everyone, and I really think it's very good to just, this is part of actually growth, spiritual growth, is to realize that we don't need to achieve so much and just really get rested. And Ajahn Brahm, one of my favorite teachers, is saying, you know, all these people in rural Thailand, in these small villages of Thailand, it's like the world stopped. They don't have all this technology yet. They just live with families, calm, peaceful lives. And Ajahn Brahm said they achieve nothing. They have no PhDs. They have no great technology. No, they have no great advances in their career. They achieved nothing except for peace, love, harmony, health, family, like harmonious family life. They achieved nothing. So this actually shows, you know, that I think we live in a crazy world in a way. And meditation just shows us that, because through meditation, natural balance is restored, and it usually tells you, please rest. Okay. All right. So this is it. Thank you. And now let's have a short break, and we go back for Gong.